How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Fringy123, and I think it's about time we talked about the Call of Duty franchise on today's episode of Casual Friday. Now, assuming that you actually go on the internet, from first impression, you'll assume that Call of Duty is probably one of the most reviled video game franchises of right now. And I would not blame you for assuming that, because Call of Duty gets an overwhelming amount of hate, and I used to be in this category of people who just hated Call of Duty, but I think I've changed. Now, hear me out before you start saying that I'm a COD fanboy or anything. Look, Call of Duty is an alright game. It's not the worst thing ever made, it's not the best thing ever made, it's just alright, okay? It's alright. I mean, does it deserve to be selling as much as it does? No, absolutely not. But is it the plague on the video game industry that everybody says it is? No. Now, I know I've said that I thought it was a plague, but I really have started to think about my opinions on the franchise, and as a result, I've sort of grown to accept that Call of Duty is the way it is. It's designed for a particular reason, and it works. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who are probably already spamming the Call of Duty videos, knowing that they're going to hate the videos, saying Battlefield 4 is going to kill COD, which is just retarded. It's not. Call of Duty's here to stay for a while, okay? That's the same thing everybody said when Battlefield 3 was about to release. That didn't work out well. Modern Warfare 3 sold double Battlefield 3. Look, Battlefield won't replace Call of Duty at any stage. It's becoming more popular, but I feel like Battlefield's becoming more popular because it's following the COD approach, but that's a story for another day. Now, when you think about why you hate COD, let's think about the main reasons why people hate COD. One, that the graphics haven't improved since Call of Duty 4, which is valid, but at the same time, I have a couple of issues with that. Even though I used to criticize it, I have a couple of issues with that. Two, that the fan base is stupid. Now I'll talk about that later. And three, that it's not innovative. Okay, so Call of Duty is the most popular game franchise right now. Now, while I know Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to sell like hotcakes, because of the growing popularity of Call of Duty between Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, that's become a more popular franchise, but we'll have to wait and see. I personally think Grand Theft Auto is a much better franchise, but we need to think about Call of Duty and the things that are pretty much critical to the success of the franchise. First off, it's accessible. It is very accessible. Pretty much anybody can pick it up and play. Anybody who says you require skill for COD is full of shit. You don't require skill for most shooters of right now, but for COD, definitely not. Two, it's fast-paced, alright? Anything that's fast-paced is appealing to people. People don't like slow, clunky shit, and that's not what COD is. COD is not that. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's fast-paced, and it's accessible. Now, hate that all you want. Hate that all you want. But that's what people want. That's what people want. Because here's the thing. When I play a game, I don't play it for realism. Realism is always good, but in some cases, realism fucks the game. I don't like Far Cry 2 because it's too realistic. I don't play games for an amazingly immersive like, it's good when a game is immersive in some aspects, but other times you just want to shoot shit in the face. And that's what COD is. So, I said, people don't like COD because the graphics haven't improved. And they're right, the graphics have not improved. But, I don't think that's a valid enough reason to completely despise a franchise. I just don't think that that's fair. Because, admittedly, yeah, the graphics are not very great, but you got to remember that they're releasing these yearly. It's pretty much a 2-year development cycle for both companies in order to make money. Now, while I don't like the whole practice of yearly releases for any game besides sports games, it's how Activision keeps afloat, pretty much. Call of Duty keeps them afloat, along with the whole Blizzard stuff. Now, graphics don't make a game. If a graphics have to make a game, then your game is poorly designed. Games are about gameplay, not graphics. Graphics are always nice, and I wish Call of Duty had better graphics, but that's not a valid enough reason to despise the franchise. So, they don't like the fan base. Okay, right. So how is that Call of Duty's fault? The fan base just happened to be a demographic that play those games. That's not Activision's fault. It's not Infinity Ward's fault. It's not Treyarch's fault. They didn't encourage it. That's just the way they act. You can't hate the franchise because of the actions of the fan base. Particularly when the fans are not promoted to act that way by the developer or publisher. Okay, that's not okay. Now the third one, it's not innovative. It's such a piss poor argument. Yes, innovation is good. I like innovation, okay? But it's not fair to criticize one game franchise for not innovating when there are countless other franchises that do the same thing. Battlefield is not innovative, okay? As much as you like to talk about it, Battlefield is just another first-person shooter that is a military, modern shooter where the only thing that you could say is revolutionary is the destructibility, but the destructibility has been in Bad Company, which released in 2008. So, in terms of that, no. That game is not innovative. Now let's take a look at other games. Most Mario games are not innovative. Most Zelda games are not innovative anymore. Most games are not innovative. They're iterative. That's just how the games industry has evolved. All the good ideas are gone, and as a result, some things aren't innovative. I would say that probably one of the only innovative games that I see coming up is a toss-up between Destiny, which seems pretty damn innovative, but still iterative, and Watch Dogs, which has an innovative idea built upon an iterated base of the open world game. So how can you criticize Call of Duty for doing things that other franchises do? Because it's popular? That's not okay. That's not okay. Now, Call of Duty is popular because it's essentially the Michael Bay films of video games. It's pulse-pounding, it's fast-paced, and it's fun. It is fun. Despite its unbalanced nature, which is really irritating, it is meant to be that pick up and play, you know it's shit, but you play it anyway, because it's kind of how I see Michael Bay films. Only difference being that the Michael Bay films are much worse than Call of Duty in a lot of ways. Now, I really don't think it's fair for people to criticize Call of Duty or Activision and the developers, pretty much, for making the game. Do you want to know why? Because they're not going to be making games that people don't want to buy. Okay? Call of Duty is successful not because Activision and Infinity Ward and Treyarch are hacks and just don't try at all and are deliberately trying to rob you. Like, you chose to buy the game. You chose. You personally bought Call of Duty knowing what it was going to be, and you wanted it, okay? You wanted Call of Duty. They're making what people want. So, you cannot criticize that person for making that product when it's what people want. Now, you can criticize the quality of it, but you really cannot blame them and say that Call of Duty is a plague on the gaming industry when it is in fact your fellow gamers that are responsible for buying it every year. The worst part is, a lot of the people who bitch about Call of Duty turn around and then buy it anyway because, oh, my friends were getting it. Like, if you really don't want it, and if you feel like you must take a stand for your imaginary cause, then do it. That's it for today's episode of Casual Friday. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more rants and other angry stuff from an angry guy who likes to play video games. As usual, I'm Fringy123, and have a good one.